I'm not dependent on punch power, you know. You know what, it takes a lot more than that to be a great fighter. A lot more than that to be a great fighter, so there's various ways I'll win. But I got the fighter spirit, and that's how I'll go in there and break him down with my spirit.
After this.
But he can't though. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not even equipped to fight this dude. He's not. It's going to have to be a bunch of stuff in there. Joshua will punish this man.
It's impossible for somebody like Anthony Joshua, who is so big and so strong, to even think he's going to take it easy. Because even if he tries to take it easy, he's so powerful, so strong that even those punches that are being easy are still gonna hurt.
Anthony Joshua warned Jake Paul at the press conference, calling him unrealistic for believing he can beat him. Joshua said he is taking the fight mainly for business and money, but made it clear that once they are in the ring, he is still the strong.
I deliver what I was supposed to deliver years ago. I deliver what they ran from. I deliver what he asked for $50 million for. I'm gonna give him a $50 million knockout.
I honestly listen to what people say sometimes. They're avoided, this person's running. I honestly think some people are deluded. Really, I do think that they've got some sort of a long-term concussion, because no one's running. In terms of 50 million, I'm a businessman. If there was 50 million on the table...
Chris Algieri says this fight is a great chance for Anthony Joshua to return to action. After being inactive since his last defeat, Joshua can use this matchup to rebuild confidence and regain his fighting rhythm. He can make a big payday with very little danger, almost like a controlled sparring session. Algieri says Joshua benefits financially, mentally, and physically, making this fight a smart and...
What are we talking here? Like, it's going to be an exhibition? No, it's a fight. You're a heavyweight. You're calling out heavyweights. You're calling out a heavyweight. You're calling out Anthony Joshua, former world champion. You're calling him out on short notice. It's a fight. You're going to wear 10-ounce gloves and you're going to fight 10 rounds, and that's what it is. I don't understand any idea of anything else. Oh, it's going to be 8-2s? Is it going to be 15-ounce gloves? What the hell are we doing? This is boxing. You want to fight a real guy? You're fighting a real guy, which I am very respectful, and I respect the hell out of Jake Paul if he does step in the ring with Anthony Joshua. No matter what happens, kid's got balls of steel, and I applaud you.
Well, the reason I say we don't know yet, because Jake Paul has fought in his last fight with Gervonta Davis was going to be an exhibition. They had to do that because of the weight difference. This is still a weight difference here. I mean, Anthony.
No, there's not. No, it's not. It's heavyweight. It's the same weight class.
Well, what do you consider Jake Paul? Cruiserweight or heavyweight?
Heavyweight. How much did he weigh his last fight?
He's fought at cruiserweight. He's also fought at heavyweight. Against Tyson was at heavyweight. What
was his last fight? He's a cruiser. He's a heavyweight.
What was his last fight? His last fight was at cruiser against Chavez. Whatever, you know what I mean. Like the reason Gervonta Davis fight.
He fought Chavez after Tyson. I guess Tyson was that long ago. Wow.
Yeah, it was a year ago. This week, I was looking at my Instagram memories. I was in Dallas, Texas, getting ready for me pooping my pants on Netflix. That was about a year ago. Exhibition. These are questions that are asked. These are questions that are attached.
Eddie Hearn says Anthony Joshua wants the fight with Jake Paul, but the team must be careful because Paul is unpredictable. He explains that Paul often announces opponents and then cancels or delays fights, which makes planning difficult. Because of this, Joshua's team is prepared for sudden changes while continuing to train. Hearn says if Paul follows through, this could be one of Joshua's biggest paydays. Still, they must stay cautious and protect Joshua's career, managing the situation patiently because of Paul's unpredictable habits.
Paul news seemed to come to a surprise for many. How close are we to making that fight, Eddie?
Not that close. I mean, there are conversations. There's a lot of hurdles to overcome. But if he's serious about the fight, and if it can get made, there's a very good chance we'll do it.
Is it on Netflix, and what did DAZN have to say of the fact that it made?
One of the hurdles to overcome. But we were going to have an 8-round run out in December. Just so happens it might be against Jake Paul.
Have you spoke to Nikisa? I know you're not friends with him. What are the conversations you've had?
That's who we're talking about, you know. And if they're serious and if it's real, there's a good chance. But listen, we could wake up tomorrow and he's announced another opponent and he just used AJ's name for clout. Listen, I have to respect him if he takes the fight. But who knows?
What do you think Dana White will make of this fight?
I mean, he did Mayweather against McGregor. He doesn't like Jake Paul. I really couldn't care less what he thinks about the fight. AJ's going to make close to or around a career high payday, and we'll.
Paulie. Alegnaji says Anthony Joshua will treat this fight seriously, even if it is officially an exhibition. He says Joshua has never underestimated anyone and always brings full focus and power. Alegnaji explains that Joshua's timing, discipline, and ring IQ help him punish mistakes fast. Ryan Garcia agrees, saying that even if Joshua slows down a little, his natural power still makes his punches very dangerous. Both analysts warn that Jake Paul is facing real physical danger, not just a show. Joshua's experience against top heavyweights allows him to control pace and distance, so Paul must be smart and tough to survive. Any mistake could cost him.
If you listen to this, it's definitely out of the bag.
Yeah, the Fight for 84, big boxing movie that's hitting Netflix soon about the Olympic 84 team starring Jamie Foxx and Chris Algieri.
I am not starring in anything, but whatever. Yeah, no, I got a credit. I'm in it. I got some lines. So
that's amazing. That is so cool. I mean, this couldn't get any cooler. You're now in the movie, which is absolutely absurd.
Yeah,
what a day.
Hopefully,
what a life.
Hopefully, maybe there'll be more of this. Who knows?
I think it's just the beginning. I think this podcast is numbered. Our days are numbered.
No way. I'm never letting this go, Dan. This is. I'm a ride or die.
I hope you get so big and become such a big actor that you are like delaying production because you have to film our podcast in your trailer.
Chris is in his trailer. Wait, he's got to finish his podcast with Dan.
They're like, who's Dan? Johnny Drama style.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, just
when he was on the set
total
for 5
diva,
Towns.
just total diva in every way possible.
Yes, like we said, this episode is brought to you by PPV.com. December 6th, we're going to see Pitbull Cruz versus Lamont Roach. And guess what? We're going to talk to Lamont Roach on this episode. I caught up with Lamont and to get his thoughts on the fight with Pitbull, to get his thoughts on Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, which we're going to get to in a second, to get his thoughts on 140, potentially fighting at 135. That's coming up in just a little bit with Lamont Roach. Don't forget to order that fight with us at ppv.com and all the good stuff that comes along with that. That's December 6th. Lamont Roach is an awesome interview. Great guy.
Awesome guy. Forget the interview. He's just a good dude. I told you to tell him what's up. You probably didn't.
He said what's up. He goes, where is he? I said, he's on a movie set. He goes, oh, yeah. He's got those movie star looks.
See, that's what I get. But yeah, no, he's a good dude. We see him. He trains down in Florida now. He's over at the Pro Box TV training facility, so we get to see him down there training. He's whipping on all the guys over there. But good people, good dude. Good. His dad's awesome. His brother Jordan's great. He's another one to look out for. I think he's a flyweight? I think he's a flyweight coming up, or a bantamweight. But yeah, great family, good boxing family, great boxing heritage.
Yeah, and I can't wait for that mega card. Big card, December 6th, and he's the headliner. So we're going to get to him in a second. Some big news broke. Shocking news. According to Ring Magazine, Anthony Joshua is going to step in for Gervonta Davis and fight Jake Paul. We don't know yet if it's an exhibition. We don't know yet the rules set. We don't know the date. These are preliminary talks that are ongoing. Yes, I work for him.
Dave Allen disagrees with those who say Anthony Joshua should avoid Jake Paul just because the matchup looks unusual. He says Joshua is still in peak condition and, unlike retired fighters, still has speed, strength, and all the skills needed to dominate. Allen says many fans treat these fights as entertainment, but Joshua's athleticism and power make him extremely dangerous. He warns that casual viewers may underestimate how risky this is for Paul. The fight demands full respect and focus because Joshua's
probably shouldn't be licensed, but Florida are very kind of easy commission to get. Yeah, it'll be called an exhibition.
It will be an exhibition.
It probably will be called an exhibition.
What's the point?
For me, as long as that fight you mentioned just now, Spencer, as long as that roadmap is there and it's signed, that he fights an interim guy as a warm-up afterwards and fights Tyson Fury next year, and Fury's on board, I'm great with it. Otherwise, I do think his legacy's damaged if his last fight is with Jake Paul.
An exhibition is just a waste of time. They're for retired fighters. For retired fighters, it's a load of rubbish.
Yeah, listen, the guy's still in his athletic prime. I personally don't see the reason why they can't just do the Tyson Fury fight. Why do we need interims?
Well, we all want that.
Yeah, but why do we need interims? Why do we need warm-ups? We're talking about two experienced guys who've been the best, as you just said, of the last 10, 20 years. Let's get the fight on.
It's as ridiculous as Gervonta Davis going in with him, basically, isn't it, with Jake Paul, frankly?
No different mindsets. And what, again, listening to Eddie today and what he was saying, the damage that Anthony Joshua suffered mentally, not physically, because physically he's still all there, but mentally against Daniel Dubois, he needs to go through that process again. And they said, and that's just the whole getting your hands wrapped up, doing it, whether it's Jake Paul, whether it's a top 100 fighter, you go, that's the way Anthony Joshua ticks. He needs that before going into the... All roads lead to Fury, right? We all know that. Whether Fury.
Analysts say Jake Paul is finally fighting someone closer to his level in terms of current activity. Unlike the older or retired fighters he has faced before, this makes the matchup exciting, but it also raises the physical danger for Paul. They point out that Joshua's strength, skill, and experience are far beyond anything Paul has experienced. The matchup works competitively, but it brings serious health risks for Paul.
Maybe even bigger than the Mike Tyson fight. It's hard to say, really. Tyson was a big name, but it's going to do numbers regardless, because Joshua is a big name, and then people are going to be tuning in to see Jake Paul get knocked out. Right now, Eddie Hearn talks about Jake Paul taking this Joshua fight.
I mean, my estimations of Jake Paul would go through the roof if he signed to fight Anthony Joshua, because I just can't believe in my mind that he would do something like that. I mean, Gervonta was a smart one because of his size. Like, you know, I think actually he would have had a lot of success against Jake Paul, but the size is a problem. But this would just be, you know, like if Jake Paul was to take the fight with AJ, you'd really have to maybe carry his balls in a wheelbarrow on the ring walk, you know, because AJ wouldn't mess around in there, you know. So it would be huge, but nothing, you know, to tell you it's close. Just a few conversations so far.
Damn right, if Jake Paul takes this fight, he's got some major balls on him. And I know people hate influencer boxing, but come on, he's not fighting an old, retired, past the prime MMA fighter. No, he's fighting a legit boxer who's massive, 6'5", 6'6", jacked, 240, 250 pounds, shredded, power puncher. Do we need to remind ourselves of what Joshua did to Francis Ngannou? Francis Ngannou was coming off a pretty good performance over Tyson Fury. He didn't get the win in that fight, but you could argue that he did actually win that fight. And Ngannou, throughout his entire MMA career, in 4-ounce gloves, very rarely got hit. He could take a punch. He's got a big, fat African head. Big, thick neck, traps, back. He just can't really be hit. And look what Joshua did to Ngannou. Out cold. So what do you think Joshua is going to do to Jake Paul? Jake Paul better start loading up on that Trenbolone. He needs to start eating Anavar like Skittles.
Analysts emphasize that Anthony Joshua's Olympic gold medal and world heavyweight titles make him a very serious opponent. They say his technical skill, punching power, and ring experience are much higher than anything Jake Paul has faced. Joshua can read opponents, change his strategy quickly, and land sharp, damaging punches. Even small mistakes from Paul.
Gold medalist, unified champion at the heavyweight division. He is 6'6", 250 pounds. And also, I do think.
Oh my God!
I do. Yeah, Jake Paul 6'1" and about 220. I want to say this though. I think Anthony Joshua, he's made stupid money in his career, dumb money in his career. I don't think he's going to be in a position to be accepting BS terms with Jake Paul if this is really what's going to end up happening. I think we're actually going to get to see Jake Paul against a former heavyweight champion of the world. Do I think that's a smart idea? Absolutely not. For Jake Paul, do I think it would sell? Absolutely. Do I think it'd be very interesting and people would tune in to see if he gets his head knocked off? Absolutely. I genuinely, I hate to say it.
Experts say this fight is not casual and needs full preparation and focus. They highlight Joshua's advantages, his reach, power, conditioning, and experience, which help him control the range and pace of the fight. While Paul is confident, he is stepping in with a former world champion who cannot be taken lightly. Joshua's past fights with top heavyweights have sharpened his defense and timing, making him capable of dominating even unorthodox fighters. Analysts agree that this matchup is a real test for
Alexander Usyk, who's now the undisputed, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time now after beating all these guys. He was a smaller guy. Went up, he's like 6'2", 6'3", about 200 pounds at first. Now he's probably sitting at about 220, 230. Similar size to Jake Paul. Yeah. Went up and beat all these guys. Granted, Usyk, greatest amateur boxer at that weight class ever. I think it's going to be interesting, but I do think Jake Paul is in a good position.
The only fear is this.
I hate to give him credit.
If Jake Paul gets his block knocked off completely.
Yeah, very possible.
The Jake Paul experiment is over. It's a wrap. Because if you step into the ring, everybody thus far is wondering and has wondered, like, what would happen versus a legitimate boxer?
Yeah.
And in their relative shape. Not a 50-year-old Floyd.
Yeah.
Not a 60-year-old Mike. We've all asked ourselves, well, what happens if you fight a real fighter? The problem is, once you fight a real fighter and you get beat down, the hypothesis is gone. So now we don't need to wait to see the experiment. Y'all know what we do every year. We say the best college team could beat the worst NFL team.
Yeah,
and it's a fun debate.
Yeah.
Because if you don't really know
That would
ball,
not happen.
yeah,
Would
right,
not
if you
go
don't
well.
really know ball, though,
Yeah.
you'll be like, man, but if 10 players on Georgia would start for the Cleveland Browns right now.
Oladipo says this is one of the year's biggest fights, drawing huge attention from fans and media. He says Anthony Joshua's history as a former heavyweight champion and Olympic gold medalist brings excitement and credibility, making the matchup highly anticipated worldwide. Fans expect big punches and the possibility of a knockout, raising the intensity. Oladipo says Joshua's power and experience ensure the fight will be taken seriously, not just as entertainment. The combination of Joshua's legacy and Paul's popularity creates massive interest, turning this fight into a major topic in both.
And this is, for Jake Paul, a much bigger fight than fighting Gervonta Davis. And I mean bigger, not just in the sense of who he's fighting and the size of AJ. I mean bigger in terms of numbers. Like Jake Paul versus AJ does way bigger numbers for me than Gervonta versus AJ. I think this actually does bigger numbers than Terence Crawford versus Canelo. I really do. I think this is, again, if it makes money, it makes sense. Let's talk about the negativity. And look, I get it. Like, if you're like me, I still believe, and look, some might say, well, AJ's just going to pick up, who knows what the numbers are, 80, 100 million, right? And then continue on his trajectory or career to potentially become a world champion again. I don't like this pause, if this is just me. I still believe that AJ can do damage in the heavyweight division. I believe that. Again, some people are like, no, he's done. Okay, cool. I believe that AJ can do damage again. I look at the heavyweight division and I remove Alexander Usyk from it, and I'm like, AJ can beat a lot of those guys. So I like the idea of AJ staying busy and having real fights against real heavyweights. So I'm not a fan of this pause, especially considering that we've not seen AJ in the ring since September 2024. It's a long time. It's a long, long time. So if AJ has this fight, we're not going to see AJ in the ring properly until the spring. It's a long, long time. If AJ was busy, and then had this fight in between, I guess I wouldn't be too mad with it. I get it, right? If someone knocks on your door and says, do you want to fight Jake Paul for 100 million? You're like, you'd be stupid to say no. No, I don't want that 100 million for what would be and will be